Vietnam investment policy should improve to attract more foreign investment?
I think if the economy were more of an enabling environment than a restrictive environment, that it would attract more foreign investment. We talked about infrastructure. Infrastructure is impeding some foreign investment. I think the Vietnamese are working very, very diligently and very hard to correct some of the transportation issues. Energy, as we talked about, is another area. Upgrading the labor force is important. I think that's work for not only the government, but also for the universities. I think it's work that can be done by the foreign business community, the Vietnamese business community. And I think that one way that Vietnam will be able to attract more foreign investment is to try to implement the TPP after it's enacted in a very broad sense rather than in a restrictive sense. We think that will be create a much more welcoming environment for investment. Vietnam can add value to products. There's no reason why it should only raise fillet and send fish abroad. It can do much more. It can fish. It can add value locally so that the money coming back to Vietnam is much larger than just supplying raw materials. So Vietnam has to get itself into the supply chain, not import components to manufacture, but manufacture the components to manufacture. And I think that TPP and the environment that it will create will help that. Vietnam does many things very, very well, and they just have to continue to try to do those things and move forward in that direction.
Thank you for very good advice. Thưa quý vị, chúng ta sẽ có đôi phút giải lao để sau đó chúng ta trở lại với cuộc trao đổi này, đặc biệt là về vấn đề các cái doanh nhân Việt Nam, các nhà xuất khẩu Việt Nam sẽ đón nhận, sẽ chuẩn bị cho cái cơ hội gia tăng giao thương với Mỹ như thế nào. Chào các bạn, chúng ta trở lại với chương trình Cận Cảnh, đề tài gia tăng giao thương giữa Việt Nam với Mỹ, đặc biệt là xuất khẩu đi Mỹ trong cái triển vọng ký kết hiệp định anh làm lại nhé. Chào quý vị, chúng ta trở lại với chương trình Cận Cảnh. Đề tài ngày hôm nay là gia tăng giao thương Việt-Mỹ, đặc biệt là triển vọng hiệp định thương mại xuyên Thái Bình Dương được ký kết thì việc xuất khẩu vào Mỹ sẽ gia tăng như thế nào? Chúng ta đã trao đổi với luật sư Sesto Vecchi về tình hình giao thương Việt-Mỹ những năm vừa qua và triển vọng sắp tới của TPP. Thưa các bạn, một trong những cái nhân vật mà sẽ phải đóng vai trò quan trọng trong cái cuộc giao thương này là các doanh nhân, đặc biệt là các cái doanh nghiệp xuất khẩu. Chúng ta sẽ có cuộc trao đổi với luật sư Sesto Vecchi về đề tài này. Mr. Sesto, we talked already about government policy. However, I mentioned that business people that are important men in the scene. So far, I know that your law office, of course, you have mainly that American client, foreign client, but I see you also give consultancy about export to US for Vietnamese business people. Years ago, how about your advise them when they want to enter the US market? And now with TPP, any new advice so far?
I think the advice is more or less the same. But what I think has happened is that the Vietnamese business people are much more capable now of seeing the opportunities than maybe they were 20 years ago when Vietnam and the United States just normalized relationships. I think everybody sees it, but it's interesting just to think about it from time to time. 20 years ago, very few people had traveled abroad. The economy was dominated by state-owned companies. People didn't speak English very broadly. Foreigners were not very visible in Vietnam in terms of business. Today, it's totally different. You have a totally different generation. People who not only have traveled back and forth to the United States and other countries, but have lived there, have gone to school there. English is very widely spoken. The internet is accessible to many, many people. Markets are more easily discovered now and more easily understood. All of that's going to translate into the creation of opportunities and the ability to take advantage of those opportunities in Vietnam. And it's all happened within a relatively short period of time. So I think continue doing what you're doing, but it's going to be much easier and the opportunities are going to be greater now.
It mean now the opportunity is more accessible for everyone.
Exactly. That's exactly what I believe.
Yeah, and however, you should mention about new generation of business people in Vietnam who grow up together with 20-year normalization between two countries. Do you think that in business doing they should give priority about U.S. market, or how the concept they should approach when they want to explore, when they start up their business in Vietnam?
I think the U.S. market is a competitive market. It's segmented in many, many different ways. I think that if you're going to enter the U.S. market, you have to have a fixed idea of what is your segment, what is your competitive advantage, what is the region you're going to focus on, what is the product line you're going to focus on, what are your advantages, what is your competition doing. All of those things are as important today as they've always been. And I think that Vietnamese investors are much better able to come to good answers to those questions, and so I think are going to be able to take advantage of the U.S. market. But it's a market that requires study and preparation before entering it, because if things don't go well, the negative consequences might be larger. But it's a huge market, and if you're successful, it will have been a good decision.
In addition to market survey, to expand business to U.S., do you think one factor would be how the trade relation between two countries, that there will more and more joint venture between Vietnam and U.S. or TPP country investor, or also now people talk about M&A. The door for U.S. investor open much when we would welcome them to buy share or to join hand with Vietnamese business to increase export to the U.S. Do you think it's a good way?
M&A and joint ventures certainly are two good ways to help grow Vietnamese business and to enhance exports. There is, as we all know, quite a lot of M&A that is going on at the moment. These are not finance companies that have come to invest and take advantage from a financial standpoint. The companies that we see coming now are companies that are actually in a particular business, and for some reason they were left behind and didn't open their business in Vietnam. Now they see an opportunity to join together with Vietnamese business that already exists here and to grow the business together. They may bring financing, they may bring technical assistance, they may bring marketing skills, they may be a market themselves for products that are manufactured here. Products or services, I should say, because the M&A and the joint ventures are not all about manufacturing products to export abroad. Many of those M&As are about putting their value together with Vietnamese companies to provide a service in Vietnam.
Service.
And that is really what's happening. And it's being led by other Asian countries, companies from other Asian countries, from Thailand, from the Philippines, from Japan, and from Singapore.
Interesting. Mr. Sesto, I know you actually you were Vietnam veteran. It means you stay in Vietnam for many, many years. I think since 1960, correct? And now you spend nearly 50 years living and working in Vietnam. For the next 10 years, what will you forecast about the future relation between Vietnam and US? And do you expect any new development between two business community, between two young people of the country?
Well, I've lived in Vietnam a long time, but maybe not quite 50 years.
Yeah.
And I consider Vietnam home. Of course, I have roots in the United States, but Vietnam is my home now. I see, both from a commercial standpoint and diplomatic standpoint, the interests of Vietnam and the United States coming together. We certainly have put our past almost totally behind us, and I think that there is a dedication on both sides to continue to forge a closer relationship, and with the openness that Vietnam has, I think it's going to be easier and easier for Vietnam to join together with the United States on items of mutual interest like TPP.
Thank you, Mr. Sesko Vetki. Today we have a very good talk with you about not only trade relation between two countries, also the relation, the full relation between Vietnam and US, and particularly that business people for both countries. Thưa quý vị, chúng tôi nghĩ rằng cái cuộc nói chuyện của chúng ta với luật sư Sesto Vetki có nhiều điều rất là thú vị, và trong cái mối quan hệ Việt Nam và Mỹ về thương mại, kinh tế cũng như nhiều vấn đề toàn diện khác là cái mối quan tâm của nhiều bạn, và chúng ta sẽ có thể trở lại đề tài giao thương Việt-Mỹ, đặc biệt là vấn đề xuất khẩu qua Mỹ trong nhiều chương trình sắp tới. Xin hẹn gặp lại quý vị trong chương trình kế tới của Cận Cảnh. Thank you very much. And
this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed our exchange. I wish it could have continued.
Yes, yeah. Sorry, we have to repeat the second hand, the handshaking. Yeah, they should. Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Sesko Vetki, for the sharing.
I enjoyed very much our exchange. I hope we could have continued, and we'll continue it elsewhere.
Yes. Actually, I think next week, day later, that when we broadcast the interview today, we will get good feedback from the audience, and your talk would be very helpful for Vietnamese business people, and also international business people to learn about trade relation between two countries. Yes.
I'd be happy to continue the dialogue as well.
Yeah. Thank you very much again.
Thank
we
you.
finished the accent.
Thank you.